From just outside and just inside the perimeter of Atlanta, Georgia, where Ronny wore white and we looked pretty bright.
Woo!
I think whatever you...
Is that what you're saying?
I think whatever you were planning before that you said was an all-time great intro was probably better than that one.
What I was going to go with before, here we go, take two. From just outside and just inside the perimeter of Atlanta, Georgia, where we won.
That's it.
Yeah. The bright one was better. Plus, they can be like, it was so bright. Gang, sunglasses.
Oh, hey, prepared.
Yeah, if you're not watching the video feed, everybody but me got the memo for sunglasses tonight. Hello, everybody. It is the 5 Takes podcast, and we are back.
We're back.
Yeah, like
we're back.
We're something.
We're back-ish.
Like
We're so back.
like All American Rejects doing house parties via Instagram tours. Anybody seen this? This is brilliant marketing.
It's genius.
So, All American Rejects, you know, if you've heard of them, if you haven't, God, do I feel old? They were a thing years ago, and now they're a thing again, and they're touring around the country, but they're not doing stadium tours, arenas, anything like that. You can hit them up on Instagram and ask them to come play at your house. And they're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
What?
They're playing garages. They're playing backyards. They're playing house parties.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm thinking maybe we put in a request. Who wants to host?
I have 2 levels of deck. They could play on the top deck, and then we have the bottom deck where everybody could stay.
And you could make food? It would be amazing.
I never met a party I didn't like.
I would do it. My house is too small for...
You have a big old backyard.
My backyard would actually probably work, though.
This is definitely an outdoor thing because it's a rock concert. It will crack your
Yeah, we could set it on the porch and set up chairs in the backyard.
Is there an artist out there or band? Amy won't be able to answer this question because you haven't been to a concert since 1872. But is there somebody... Oh, gasp. If you're not watching the video portion of this. Also, tonight we have Amy with us. We have Jennifer. And we got Pat King with us. Packing is showing up tonight in place of Kat, who is still out. If you had an artist or a band and you could have them come play your house party, who you got?
Is it me?
Yeah, go, Jennifer. Kick it off.
Is it me? Daft Punk is playing at my house.
Ooh.
My house.
Good shout.
Excellent LCD sound system reference.
No, actually, Daft Punk.
Well, yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
but both. Yeah, both of them. I would, yes, please.
That is an excellent shout.
I'll show you the ropes, kid. Show you the ropes.
That is an excellent shout. Pat, if you could have anybody. I'm talking to anybody. Elton John down to... As long as they're
Pearl
alive.
Jam.
In my backyard? Yeah.
Pearl Jam. I want Pearl Jam in my backyard. I want to get wine drunk with Eddie Vedder because he did, literally, I might have enough wine for Eddie Vedder to do a full show at my house.
I'd say I want to get Outkast back together, but literally it could just be Andre playing the flute in my backyard. I don't want too many people.
I'll come for a flute show. Hell
for sure.
Yes.
For sure.
Hell yes. All right. Amy?
So for the record, Glenn, I found my Lilith Fair t-shirt just the other day. I'm going to wear it on the next pod just to prove that I went to a concert one time.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Is that who you're bringing?
But secondly, I can answer...
That's not a band!
No, it would 100% be the Indigo Girls. The Indigo Girls would be... I'm just going to go with the right lesbian answer.
Yeah.
And it's the Indigo Girls.
Fair enough.
You don't have to put yourself in a little lesbian box.
I don't, but in this case, I'm all right with that box. I'm good with it.
I'm sure you are good with the box.
Anyway, moving on.
I digress.
Shades.
I digress. Shades on. Man, I should have brought glasses. I'm so unprepared. I think for me, my childhood heart wants to say Blink-182 just because grew up with those guys and they meant a ton to me growing up. But if I just want cool, weird production value and just an awesome visual experience, like a Daft Punk, I'm going M83.
Ooh.
M83, low-key, one of the best shows I've ever been to. and I have been to a ton. This is all I did as a kid was go to shows. Haven't been to a lot recently, but M83 has stood out in terms of just production value, costumes, and lasers, and Atmos, and just in that sort of like just creating a world to inhabit for 90 minutes. And I could see that like going off really well in a cool backyard setting. So that's what we'll do. Hey, if you're out there listening, you got any ideas of who you would want to show up, or if you want to just try and get All American Rejects to show up, yeah, go for it.
I mean, that would actually be super fun.
How much it would cost to have them come play in the Gulch?
Speaking of rejects, we are no longer rejects. We won.
That's right.
We won a game, man.
But for the record,
never doubted them.
For the record, I am not.
That's a lie.
I am not ready to go out on a limb, and I'm going to be the Debbie Downer and say that we are in fact back.
No, so
we still got some work to do.
This match was not some, let's be real, undeniable turning point where everything clicked and it was just brilliant. It's like, wow, that defense, top to bottom, attack, everything was flowing. It was better. There were still problems. Mm-hmm. So that being said, it makes, I think, Wednesday's match all the more important because if we win, we can look back at this one and go, oh, yeah, that's building. If we lose, then we look at it as a fluke. So I think a lot hinges on Wednesday, but let's be positive tonight. Like, we don't have to worry about the defensive issues. Like, what we needed to see was what we saw. Thank God.
I'm feeling very positive about it because look, everybody in the universe saw my quote ahead of the game, and I'm just saying, like, I feel like the last couple of matches, even in the loss, even as frustrated as we were, we all picked out some positives, some things that had started to happen around the last couple of games. And if you take away one moment in the last game, right, it's a 0-0 draw. Maybe we are all feeling a little bit better going into Cincy. But I'm with you guys. Like, I'm not fully here to say, like, we're back, we're going to, beat Orlando.
What was your quote for those that live?
And I feel like
What was your quote for those that live in a different universe?
Those that live in a different universe. That essentially, like, they asked me, like, for people that are not going to the games or haven't been to the games, like, why are you there? Why do you still want to go?
Oh.
And I said, because when you least expect it, something amazing happens.
Lo and fucking behold.
Mm-hmm.
I am really thankful. Thank you, Atlanta United and the team, for cashing the check that I wrote. I was very concerned that it was going to be an overdraft. Overdraft that I would be.
Yeah, by about 50 million.
Today, but,
I'll say,
but it worked out. It
worked out beautifully. I went in thinking lost 3-1. And then I saw the warm up, and I met Pat up at the top. Pat, what did I say it was going to be to you? I forget.
2-2 draw.
2-2 draw is what I started feeling a little bit better. And then I saw the warm up.
And then as soon as we went up 2-0, I was like, shit, he's right.
No. But pre-game, Glenn was feeling the vibes.
Yeah, like,
you told us.
As soon as I walked away from Pat, I went down and I started watching the warm up. I'm like, this feels different. I don't know how to quite put my finger on it or describe it in human words, but players dapping each other up. That long huddle before the kickoff. They
looked like they didn't like being called soft.
Yeah. And that was the Michael Jordan meme. And I took that personally.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Well, we've been talking for like several weeks, right? About what would it take? How do we push the buttons? Can Ronny get there? We've seen some evidence that he's found a button to push. And now I guess we're going to see how long.
Damn, took him long enough.
He can keep that up.
Mashed all the other buttons.
But I thought that what he said in his press conference, in fairness, we've talked a little bit too about the fact that everybody's kind of playing not in the position that you would have anticipated they would be in based on when they brought them in. And so he made this comment because they keep asking him about the shape, right? And he talked about, well, now I like it because we can play with a 4-back or a 5-back or a 3-back. And he talked about how they hadn't trained in that system.
Right.
And look, it's an excuse, but maybe it was a matter of getting the guys in the right place and then getting them to believe in themselves, a la the kids, and then getting called out. And now we'll see if they can.
Point of order.
Yeah, go ahead.
Point of order.
Sure.
this team, and I think maybe we've been watching it longer than Ronny Dyla has, but this team has always been at its very, very best when we play in a 3-5-2. That is what the lineup was dropped as.
True.
That is what the lineup was dropped as.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
That is, now I understand that, like, you drop a lineup in a shape, right? And that shape is going to evolve and move around or whatever. I don't understand why we feel this need to reinvent the wheel. We won cups in a 3-5-2.
It's totally different personnel. It's totally different personalities. It's completely different coaches. I'm not saying that you're not right, that it seems like weirdly, no matter what evolution of players we have, we find our way back to this formation. Like,
because the only identity grasp that we have as a club is being a counterattacking team. And yet somehow we've had a bunch of managers that want to steer us off of being good on the counter and doing it from the build-up.
Not
just saying.
Yeah, it wasn't purely counter last night.
No.
I mean, like we didn't hold that high a line, which actually gave the ability for Latte Lot and Miggy to get in behind for us to go direct and try these long balls, which I really liked seeing. Thrown into the mix in addition to everything else. But you're not wrong. It is mystifying when we do see something like the 3-5-2 and the more counter, productivity, like getting goals and attacking sequences that way. And then time and time again, managers and players just kind of refusing to accept that is how we are best. Like, just embrace it. This is who we are. We don't have to be city ball as much as we maybe want to be. Pep Guardiola just passing the ball away, beautiful football. We don't have to be that. But we also don't have to be ugly football either, like Red Bull and Philly. We don't have to do that. It could still
Although
be
we kind of were yesterday. If you look at the possession number, like it's interesting.
Yeah.
Like it's interesting.
Yeah, it's low. What did it end up being? Below 40% for us, or right at 40?
Yeah.
I think the other thing that we had going for us yesterday that seemingly hasn't happened all year and is completely uncontrollable is luck. For example, the fact that somehow Jay Fortune's goal goes completely through Latte Lot's legs without touching him at all.
Yeah,
and here's the thing.
People.
Don't you guys remember at least twice this season that a goal has been blocked because basically they kicked it right in the back of Latte's legs?
Yes.
Right? So that was luck that went our direction. I would also call the lack of yellow card foul on him against Haglund.
Sure, because that changes things. A player's on an early yellow, it changes things. Miles got an early yellow, it changes things. Mm-hmm. And to be clear, this has been a big debate between Cincy and Atlanta fans on was it straight red, yellow, no call, whatever. Look, I think if it had been called a yellow or even just a foul, I don't think there's any argument against that. I don't think it raises to the level of red, just the type of contact on the body and the severity of it. I don't think it's malicious. I think he got hit in just the right way, with just the right amount of force that unfortunately he's like got some cracked ribs and a collapsed lung, which is insane to me because it didn't look that bad in real time. Yeah, if you slow it down, go frame by frame, fucking every foul looks awful. Players get hurt when it's not a foul. We know this all too well. It's a
shoulder to the chest, and it's not intentional, but he just got hit in the right way.
You got a guy running at you with force,
right.
And I believe they did review it because there was enough time that VAR had,
they had plenty of time if they wanted to recommend
it. They looked at it, and I did not see a conclusive angle that would have any kind of intent with that kind of contact. They were both, Haglund was clearly trying to muscle position to keep Latte Lot from coming on the ball.
As he should.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, Latte Lot is on 6 yellows this season so far? And he's definitely got a bit of a pit bull in him.
Which we've been asking for.
I'm not saying that is a bad thing. I want that.
Yeah, I know.
Please, get up there and do that. But, is he a player that's going to have a reputation that would give you the benefit of the doubt? Probably not at this point in time. So if that's, kind of where you're sitting, it's questionable. It could have gone either way, but if it wasn't clear and, they don't clear and obviously hand out yellow cards, right? So there's
yeah.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say, they're not going to re-ref that unless it's a red.
Right.
I was just going to say that he's the player I'm the most interested in seeing how he comes out against Orlando, because I feel like a lot of the team got this catharsis and this monkey off their back with the win, and I hope that happened for him too. But he's not scored a goal in so many games for a guy that came in and scored 5 and then nothing. And you can tell he is visibly frustrated. And I think the yellows are also manifesting because of that frustration, because as you get more and more in that space, you become more and more reckless. And so for that reason, and you could tell like the guys were trying to get the ball to him. I mean, it was just an inch here, an inch there, just could not connect.
He had enough chances.
He had some sitters.
By his standard,
and he's in his head.
Yeah. Call it what it is.
He's in his head right now.
Yeah.
So, and while I love him for doing it and I'm grateful and it was amazing and I'm so glad we have it, I think TRA scoring at the end on his breakaway could also get in your head if you let it. Right. So
or I want to go the other way. It could say, all right, enough's enough.
It could light a fire under him. Right.
Nobody's safe. Everybody's spots.
I'm just happy to see fire under anybody's ass at this point in time.
That's what we were.
If I'm being real, that's what I've been asking for. Make it fun to watch. If you're gonna lose with some dignity, but don't go out with a whimper and your tail between your legs, man. And that's what they've been doing for the better part of the last 2 months. And like, that's the part that's not acceptable to me.
Yeah. Those are most of the comments we got on social media. Just running through a few of them really quickly. We didn't get a ton, which is surprising. Usually we get some when it's a great win, and honestly even more when it's a terrible loss. What it is, but we appreciate everybody as always. And to no one's great surprise, first up is Spreadsheet Jockey, always commenting and interacting with us. And I actually got to meet him for the first time at the DecaturFC match. Really sweet guy. And that's cool that he's coming out to support the girls at DecaturFC. So he says, so proud of us. I think finding a formation that works was critical. I like the group on the pitch, and he'd like to see subs a little bit sooner. That's his only critique, his only criticism. That's saying something. That's progress when that's the only bad thing we got to say is just that the subs could have been a little bit better.
I'm totally on board with that.
That's not so
bad. I messaged you guys that I felt like
that's pretty decent.
Out of gas.
No, you said we needed subs, but then you also said you liked all the subs that were made.
I liked all the subs that were made, not the timing of them. I wanted the subs about 10 minutes earlier because, and I love him and he played an amazing match, but Saba was completely gassed and he was becoming a liability on the right side, and Evander started camping out there. And one of their last dangerous opportunities came during that time. My seats happen to be right in that corner, so I just have a very direct view of what's happening on that side. So that's where I was getting a little concerned, because Saba was amazing, but he was gassed. And when you're that late in the game and that defense, you have to have that defensive play, especially when we had so little of the ball.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, but I agree with him. Otherwise,
do you think Saba starts next game?
It's on the bingo cards. I'm making new bingo cards for every match. It is on there as well as Saba sub. So depending, I think it could go either one. I think Ronnie's going to be pretty tempted to run it back.
Yeah,
if they can go.
Right.
Everybody did play really hard though. So
depends on whether his fitness is in a place where he can.
I think and it's funny because friend of the pod, Mark, also my boyfriend Mark, thinks that this is the best Saba. He didn't comment this; he just told it to me. But I'm dropping it down for him anyway because I'm ditching him for 2.5 weeks. So I feel like I needed to throw him a bone.
That's right. Jennifer will. This is her last or maybe second to last penultimate pod. We will see what happens with Ofio coming into town. We might be able to record Thursday, and then Jennifer's going to be on a South Asian food tour, eating all the dumplings. And she might pop in from time to time. $3 Michelin star meals. Sign me up. But anyway, Mark seems to think that Saba may or may not have had some sort of undisclosed nagging injury thing that may or may not have hampered him
his fitness or something. You know, it's one of those things like where, you know, I think a lot of us felt like the drop off with Brooks last year may have been some sort of nagging injury that wasn't anything that needed to be made public, which then could possibly exacerbate it. Right. But like, oh, it's just my calves are sore or my groin isn't just working right today, whatever, pick your whatever it is. And this is the healthiest and full on Saba that we've seen in a few months. So it wasn't enough to say, okay, sit me down. But again, like given the passion that Saba typically plays with, that's something that hasn't really been visible on the pitch up until this match. And it made a big impact.
Speaking,
because he was everywhere last night.
They were actually connecting with him. I mean, he and Alexi had a really nice pairing at that evening, and it was nice just to see them getting the ball to him when he was making those big runs. That was like the biggest thing is we actually were putting balls in behind. I mean, that ball that Jay Fortune puts in over the top that Latte runs in, and I wish he had buried it. But I mean,
oh my god,
and just on a dime, and it was so nice just to see that, because how many games at least have we watched where a guy is making a run and nothing happens? Somebody dribbles another 3 dribbles and loses the ball, and then the guy who made the 30-yard sprint is ticked, understandably.
Yeah.
Often Brooks Lennon.
Superstar Brooks.
No, there's no report.
And now, here's Amy with the Brooks Lennon update.
There's no Brooks Lennon update.
Brooks will be back soon. That's the end of update.
All right.
Fantastic. Okay, we did it. Cool.
Okay. So anyway,
he's practicing dribbling right now.
A few other comments.
No.
We got a few on Instagram as well. From Scott Danielson. Normally we snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. True. Even though we haven't even done so much as that lately, to be honest with you. We've just been defeated. Thinks it was still sloppy, but definitely an improvement. Yeah, that's fair. Soul Runner, constantly commenting. We appreciate it. We actually looked like a team playing for each other. Sure, we still had some issues, especially on defense, but we are dangerous and threatening in all phases. Yep, that's one of the takes. And the fact we got 3 goals from unlikely sources. No DP goals in this thing. Just saying. You know,
no own goals
shows
either.
What we can be capable of. So that's really good. And Officer Greg.
Hi, Officer Greg.
Hello, Officer Greg.
Hello, Officer Greg. I was just pouring a beer.
He's straight up drinking and potting. I forgot how to react when we win. These are my hands. What do I do with my hands? I don't know what to do with my hands. Yeah, it's been a minute to just experience this kind of like what we experienced at DecaturFC. Good football, attacking football.
Was anybody else at the match like traumatized like I was for the better part of the second half? Like,
what do you mean?
The beginning of the first half? Or second half?
The beginning of the second half. Doom after
the 15 minutes of doom.
The second half.
The 15 minutes of doom. But like even until Tiare scored that goal, I was like, we're gonna find a way to fuck this up.
I mean, I can't blame anybody for feeling that way. I mean, you've had to sort of learn that as self-preservation, right? I was weirdly feeling pretty good. I had no real reason to, but I felt okay. But I was worried when it was 2-1. Once we got the third goal, even though we gave up the second one, it's something about 3 goals. Something about 3 goals in this team. You're like, okay, somehow they believe in themselves that they have offense if they can get 3. It's weird.
So I want to ask you guys a question.
Sure.
What's it going to take for you to trust this team again?
It would
start with a W.
Yeah, starting with back-to-back wins in a convincing sort of fashion. Yeah, 2's a streak, boys. That would help a lot. I don't need to see a clean sheet on Wednesday. I don't expect to. I think our sheets are going to remain dirty for some time. Thankfully, I believe they've changed the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta donation to just goals, I think it is now.
Win.
A win? Is it just a win? Okay.
It's a win or no goals. Okay. I haven't seen it for anything else.
Okay. Otherwise,
but
those poor kids are not seeing a donation. If we can just see a similar attacking soccer, a similar commitment, energy. Derek Williams going up every ball, header, that type of stuff. Throw your body on the line. Maybe don't collapse a lung, but that kind of aggression and passion and desire to want to get stuck in. That would go a long way, I think. But it does need to be another win. I would feel much better about going on the road then with 6 points and seeing what we can dig out in 6 games here. For me.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up 2 other comments that we got on Facebook. Sure. Katie Dean agreed with you completely about the warm-ups, and she called it out. She's literally the first person to comment after you posted this. Where I'm going to break her comment up into 2 parts because it's 2 parts. Where she said, we saw this during the pre-match warm-ups with Jay and Moranchuk practicing in their runs together. He was instrumental in tonight's win. And Amy applauded you, and then you asked about her catching the dapping and everything, the long huddle, and that it felt different.
Build this midfield around Jay.
Well, she then wanted to add that this is the best we've seen everybody interact and build plays with Moranchuk. He made some fantastic plays tonight, and more importantly, players such as Jay, Saba, and Almiron helped transform his steals and attacks into something greater.
Yeah.
And he got 2 assists. We didn't have any DP goals, but our DP, who has gotten the most flack, did come through with 2 credited assists.
Instrumental in creating the goals. And good attacking play. We created 9 big chances and got 4 goals. That's
that first one.
He was in the spaces he needed to be in, too.
Correct. So 9 big chances, 4 goals. That's the math that Ronny was contemplating at the training ground the other day. If you can create a goal out of every 2 to 2.5 chances, that's getting to a top 4 type status. That's what we need to do going forward, and that's pretty much it. It was pretty clinical in front of goal. If you're creating that much and you can convert on that ratio, and should have been more, to be honest. I mean, those Latte chances, man. Like, when he rounded Salentano, I'm like, all right, it's side netting. Here we go. He's going to stick it in. And just couldn't. Credit to him. Salentano's great, and he pretty good goalkeeping there to close down as much of the angles.
He's just not near as fast.
Right.
Not even close.
Man, Latte, when he wants to turn on the afterburners, boy, he could just smoke. And I think it still catches defenders off guard, and probably more so now because he hasn't had a lot of those balls to run onto.
Right.
But boy, good luck if you're even a step or 2 ahead of him. He can still get by you. Like,
Celentano did really well to get him just to go
he did.
a step off. And I think if he had picked right instead of left, that's in he doesn't dribble himself out of that goal. But
I just hope that Wednesday's match, however it goes, I really, really need that win. If we can at least,
it's Orlando.
Yeah, especially that. But if we can at least stay healthy, I that would be the worst disruptor if somebody goes down non-contact, and that's like a J or something, that's been so key, and you got to overcome that. Like, just give us a chance, man. Just give us a chance to build on this, and don't take this away from
speaking of Jay and Amy, I think it was you that was saying, like, we need to start. Was it you or Pat just now saying we need to start building around Jay? Who said that?
That was Glenn, I thought.
Yeah, we do. Also,
I agree.
Can I just say
it's working?
I am absolutely absolutely shocked at you, Jennifer. Absolutely shocked that I teed you up for a segue.
Well, I was still in commenter mode, and I wanted to.
You just didn't hop on that segue. I parked it in front of your house.
Wow.
I honked the horn. I rang the little bell.
I was still in reading.
You thought that was a bird scooter.
I wasn't exactly paying attention to you. But hey, if you need someone to actually pay attention to you, unlike the attention I've been paying to Glenn, we know some great people who are happy to pay attention
to you. Undivided attention at Mason Mill. Give them a call at 404-321-0082. Find them on the web, masonmillchiro.com. Best chiropractor in Atlanta. They'll keep you going, keep you healthy, and they'll pay attention to everything you say. They'll take it everywhere. They really will. They will actually listen to you. It's not like some other doctors maybe where you feel like you're a number and not really being heard. They will take the time to listen to you. They are in Decatur, Georgia, off of McConnell Mill Drive. Not all that far from Decatur High School, actually, where DecaturFC plays. And they're open Tuesdays through Saturdays. The Saturday hours, particularly clutch, especially for film folk like myself and Pat here, who maybe can't get to the doctor on regular human hours. Oftentimes, Saturdays, super clutch. I think they're only open till maybe 1 on Saturdays, but still, it's nice to have that option and to have people that care, that really, really care about you and are invested in your physical health and honestly your mental health too, and your emotional health. Like, they really do take the time to get to know you as more than just a patient, as a person, you know. Maybe especially important now that we're in Mental Health Awareness Month, to know that you know, people care. People care. And
shout out to friend of the pod Abby for
the green
handing out some mental health awareness ribbons.
We all had those on at the match.
Huge. Love it.
Well, there's a reason we all had them on at the match too, because
yes,
yesterday our friends at the factions celebrated and remembered somebody really important to them, a man by the name of Martin Chadwick. And he was this man was instrumental in the creation of the faction, designed their logo, and so every year, Amy, you know more about this because you're kind of the de facto Spike concierge. So maybe you want to pop us in with some details and stories here.
Yeah, so every year the faction has a game in May where they will. So I think hopefully everybody knows, but the Golden Spike is carried into the stadium by a representative of each of the supporter groups. Traditionally, a member who has volunteered, done things in the community, and otherwise contributed to supporter culture. And so it's a really special honor. And every year since Martin's passing, the faction has left their spike spot open during Mental Health Awareness Month for a match to call awareness to the empty space where there should be a carrier there for them. And it's a really lovely tradition. They will have the other supporters carry a faction scarf down, symbolizing the missing member, and then that scarf rides the spike and then is handed up to the capos to be hung there in support of our team for the match. And I've been lucky enough, as Jennifer said, to witness this the last several years. I take pictures of people that carry the golden spike to try to help make that experience special. And I really just love that tradition that the faction does. And shout out to you for everything that you do. They also raise money for their tailgates during the month of May, and for mental health awareness, and donations and proceeds have been made to various mental health charities in Martin's memory and in honor of this holiday. So it's really nice to see people calling attention to something that we need, you know, in our community, and the support.
Yeah. Here.
Yeah.
Now
And
more than ever.
Mental health.
Yeah.
Now more than
Normalize
Huge.
talking about it.
Absolutely.
Now more than ever. Talk to people, talk to professionals, talk to friends, talk to your dog, talk to your cats.
Yeah.
Talk to whoever you can, because there's no worse feeling, in my opinion, than feeling like you're just totally isolated, alone, and your problems will probably still be your problems. It's not like there's just some magical wand that can make all that go away, but it does help. At least I have found to be able to process those problems and constructively deal with them if I'm talking to someone else who is also dealing with that or has. You know, because taking one's life is, you know, what do they say, a short, long-term solution to a short-term problem, and
hey, listen, if you're hearing this pod,
Yeah.
you are a member of the Atlanta United fan base, and that means that you are family with all the rest of us.
Yep.
We are united as supporters, you know, group, as people that mutually love the game. And so, you know, you can always say hello, like, know that you have people in the community that care about you. And yeah,
100%.
I think it's really great that we can all
100%.
come out and experience joy together.
And we
look,
did.
We got to experience some joy.
Fancy that.
That helped.
Yeah, fancy that. Hey, Amy, I don't know what's going on with your microphone, but it started going a little bit low. See if you can crank it up. Jennifer,
let me.
Do you want to pick up where I derailed you, or should we just move on to takes?
Let's just move on to takes, and Tim Steimer know that I agree with everything that you said.
Thank you, Tim. All right, so this match was played at a pace that was easily 2 to 3 times faster than any match in the past 2 months. There was none of that inexplicable drop offs. I mean, you can look at the momentum map and see that there were times, but it didn't feel like that. And we're
the first 15 minutes of the second half.
Yes, I know, but
again.
But when we got over it, we came back. Usually we don't. Usually we're just left for dead on the side of the road. And
it's true.
You can do a lot with just that. Put the tactics aside and the technical play and being clean on the ball. Put all that aside. How about just play, man? And play with some heart, passion, energy, some fire, man. You can do a lot with that. We did. So that was nice to see. I know it's a high level, like from a 30,000 foot view. We're not getting in the minutia of things, but this is what we've been talking about over the past, 6, 7, 8 pods is just commit.
We're not at a place where we can argue or dally about the minutia of things.
No.
We need big picture, bold letter concepts that are easily digestible. We're not going to get into like the tactical battle of blah, blah, blah. No. Go out there, run faster than the other people, kick ball at net, put ball in box. Maybe something happened.
Stop being soft.
Stop being soft. I like the George of the Jungle hype speech type vibe you're giving off there. That's great. Keep it really simple.
A word that comes to mind that I think we had this time that we haven't had in a while. Sorry, Pat. Were you?
No.
Please go ahead.
No.
We haven't had, and this is kind of funny now, anticipation. Like I failed to anticipate that you were going to say more and interrupted you. That's how our team's been playing, with lack of anticipation and understanding of one another, right?
Oh no, we're our midfield manifested in pod form.
Oh, we bump into each other. God. Segue.
I'm hiding.
We're going to get there, though.
Yeah, I'm not even here.
Glasses on. We're going to get there, though.
Anyway.
It's like that. It's like the movie with Adam Sandler where, the kid puts on the glasses and he becomes invisible.
Big Daddy?
Big Daddy, thank you.
I wiped my own ass.
Yeah.
The team
Scuba Steve.
Yeah, we were wiping our own ass today. We didn't get our ass wiped. It was great.
Soft.
This was purposeful football. Like easily the most cohesive we looked, even better than the Montreal game in the first one. And this is an obviously far superior opponent. Second in the East, and they were going to go top of the league. Like Cincy is good, and they have been good for a while now. They have promptly put down that wooden spoon, and they have figured shit out from a fundamental layer. Players were anticipating passes. There were actually runs off of the ball. Fancy that. Connection issues were still present.
There were purposeful runs, and the ball wound up in the vicinity of the player it was intended to hit. Now, not all the touches were good, but at least they were in the right place,
and the ball went in the right direction.
Each other, or yes.
Bless our hearts. The ball went in the right direction.
Into the space, and not into the back of their legs.
Yeah.
We had some luck go our way.
That a factor for sure. You need it. You need everything else. You need a little bit of lucky bounces too, and it all kind of coalesced for us. Finally, we've actually kept our opponent guessing in the best way possible. We have kept opponents guessing in the past in the worst way possible. In that, Cincy Soccer Folk or Cincy Soccer Talk, I believe the podcast up there, they were on with the guys from Scarves and Spikes, and they were asking what type of system Cincinnati should be prepared for. And I'm like, system? No system. We have no patterns, no nothing. So that's not a good way to keep an opponent guessing, just by not having a system at all, kicking the ball around. That's not what I was talking about. We were actually dangerous from virtually all areas, all phases of play. We countered, we built the play up, we went direct, over the top, and it actually resulted in chance creation. 9 of them. So that's different.
I don't know that I hate the idea of chaos mode for the rest of the season.
It's not sustainable. No.
Well, why not?
Life finds a way.
It wouldn't go
chaos
mode, but I think that
mm-hmm.
I wouldn't go full chaos mode, but I think now we're basically trained 2 position deep in 2 different systems. So that should make you naturally able to adjust, because Ronny trained them the first half of the season seemingly in one system and has now been trying to, or the first quarter in preseason, and now has found this new. And depending on the personnel, you switch it up. And because we've had so many injuries to our back line and everywhere else, but not like serious injuries. We've had a lot of combinations of guys who have played together. So if we could actually get some momentum and belief behind ourselves, we have the ability to kind of approach matches from a variety of places rather than just one singular identity. And maybe that's what you mean by chaos mode. You embrace that as your identity.
Two guys that were
that's you said it a lot better than I could have.
That's exactly it.
You use actual
running around
words.
swinging.
Yep,
Chaos mode.
Towards jungle. I know have all words fabricated.
Mongo.
No, I get it. I was expecting another Mortal Kombat reference. Honestly, like
I can't believe we've gotten this far without one or a skating reference.
You know, I have to keep you guys on your toes. Yeah. Like I got to mix it up and throw some different stuff in here. So this week you've got Brendan Fraser and Adam Sandler. Go with that.
I can't wait to see what we'll do next. Hey, what did you think of Miggy and Latte Lot up top? Essentially, two strikers. Miggy still being a bit of that joker, can roam around. But going direct to both of them, one of them winning the ball for the other, wingers coming up in support and anticipating that there's going to be a knockdown win off a second ball. That seemed to be a pattern of sorts that we can and probably should replicate, maybe, yes?
If it keeps people from bumping into each other, I'm all for it.
The bar is so low.
Well, I mean, it worked, so
I understand.
Hard to not run it back.
Okay, I'm gonna piss in everybody's vinegar for just a hot second here.
Oh, great.
It's not gonna work long term if neither one of them can frickin' finish.
Fair. That's true.
Since I was going to say that I think that it's working quite well for Miggy, and whether or not it's working for Latte is still to be determined. And but what I will give him credit for is I think he is trying to make it work. You are seeing him play the role, get in there, bows or shoulders out, depending on your perspective. And he's going up for those headers. He's going up with reckless abandon. He is putting his body out there. He is bumping the ball on. He is trying to connect with the guys. I think that he is being asked to do something that's maybe a little bit different from, again, what he was anticipating doing. And that's why I want more than anything, not just because it's what we all want, but for him to score against Orlando. He needs a goal, I think. And I think that that's the only way that we may be able to say, yes, this is working for both of them. Because I'm not sure you can bring a guy in like that and expect him to sit back and not be
there's your answer, Jennifer.
Right?
There's your answer. Trust. How do you get it? That would help.
I just again, sample size is small, but we saw Miggy miss a couple of really big opportunities against Philly that should have gone in.
It's true.
And we saw Latte miss a couple of big opportunities that, like, I don't understand how our XG is only, like, what was it, 4.37? I don't understand how our XG wasn't 6 yesterday.
Yeah.
By the way, I think that it's working better for Miggy, but I still maintain that he has the yips right now, which is what I refer to this
Same with Latte Lot.
as, right? They're both in the same space, but I feel closer to seeing Miggy come out of it than where I feel with Latte, because you can feel the frustration building and it just manifests differently. Like, it seems like with Miggy, what we're getting is he still had a couple of times on Sunday where I felt like he overthought his dribbling and he dribbled himself out of, if he had just made the pass, we were in. Because he's holding the ball more, I think, because he's in that headspace.
Okay.
And we didn't see as many, but he's still taking those kind of wild shots, right? Okay. And then with Latte, the way that it manifests is different. It's manifesting into this sort of aggression and anger, which is great when channeled and terrible when not. So that's why I feel very positive. I think very positive momentum. But I agree with you, Jennifer. We need some finishes for both of them, I think, to fully feel like the monkey is off their back. And I'm not sure a penalty kick is going to do it.
No, I don't. No, it's going to have to be run a play. And we need to really continue to work hard Not a penalty kick.
Not a penalty.
Yeah,
Anything but a penalty. They've got to show that they can make something.
And again, like baby steps. I get that this whole thing is not going to flip itself inside out in 1 or 2 matches, right? What we need to see is constant progression. We still have yet to see a 90-minute effort from the entire squad.
This was as close as we
minus 15 minutes in coming out of the half.
I'm gonna give it to him.
Look,
say more like 10, but it was a bad 10.
Glenn, you can give it to them all you want, but if you want a championship caliber team,
I'm not there yet.
Championship caliber teams do not. I know, but
this is on the progress. Wait, it was good enough for me. I mean, look, do you want to talk about defensive problems? We could. Is it really worth it? No.
I don't want to. I want to be happy.
Yeah. Look, what we needed to see last night was an ability to play attacking soccer and togetherness, and we got it. It took us a while, but we got it. Yeah, and an opponent taking 30 shots, 10 of them on target, is not ideal. And you're right. It is not a championship caliber team. But it's a team at least. Fuck. At least we got a team.
I do want to. So I rewatched the match because, at the end of the match, everything, like, especially like when Tiari scored, like, it was chaos. So I rewatched it. One of the things that I really want to hit on is this core of bonding that we're seeing with the homegrown players. And the thing that I think is really kind of starting to turn the tide mentally with this team, having watched also the nonstop access that dropped about 6 minutes before.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I will check it out. Is it good?
Okay. It's
okay.
It's done the way I would have hoped our social media team would do it, because they're happy and they're celebrating, but they're not going out saying, "Oh, we won the world." Ooh.
Good.
It's not.
And I was glad that they didn't release like a team photo last night, like the
Yeah.
No, it's
we're not there.
Be happy with this and keep going.
So two things I noticed, because I think everybody, Jay had a standout match, right? Mm-hmm. And when he scored his goal, and I, couldn't see it because I'm all the way on the other side of the thing. He's doing his little dance, he hit the gritty for his friend or whatever, which is really cute. The first guy over there was Matt Edwards. Mm-hmm. And then Matt was like all big old bro. And you could see them kind of just cutting up and feeling good together. And then you wouldn't notice this unless you watch the replay, but in the build up to Tiare's goal, the work that Will Riley put in to get the ball, to win the duel, to get the ball, to get the ball to click, to get, like, none of that happens without the high quality on the ball defense, like totally keyed in defensive play that Will Riley makes there to free that ball in the midfield. And that's the kind of follow through that I think a lot of our bigger, more higher priced players, that's the work that they weren't doing. They seem to kind of have this expectation that the ball is just going to stick to their feet.
Heard.
And I feel, look, you got it, and we've been asking who's playing for the badge. That's who's playing for the badge.
Work. Yeah.
No, for sure.
Okay. Cool.
I just want to put that out there, because it's awesome to see that. It makes me, the hope I get is seeing that the future of where we're going to be as a club, not necessarily this year, but in another season or 3 seasons from now, that there is still that mentality coming up from the academy.
Yeah, that's been evident.
And I'd like to give a shout out to everybody who was in the building cheering this team on after this kind of streak, right? And I also want to give a shout out to every person that made it out. And I know it's a a privilege to be able to take a Wednesday morning, but everybody that was able to go out to the supporter day at training, you will not convince me that being able to see the fans have that little bit of time, knowing that there's still people, even though you have been this terrible, who are going to take a Wednesday off work to come over to the training ground and stand around and just watch you practice, hoping that you will come by and just make their day with your presence, right? Like, that's got to mean something to these guys. And I felt like that. And, it was, anyway, I just think that it makes a difference. And I like to think that support, you know, and hearing that there's still people out there that are, you know, as the team said, ride or die,
Yeah.
right, with the team, that has to do something for you, especially if you are a homegrown kid that is playing for the badge, like you said. Truly, I thought that was cool. I just want to say I think the presence matters. And
Agree. No, I agree. It's something I hadn't considered, and maybe that was part of the, you know, another little ingredient into this dish we're trying to make that gave it a little spice. You know, maybe.
So I want to close this all up, since we've now been through the takes, with a question based on some very revealing interviews that went down with Garth this week.
Okay.
We don't really have time to get into all of those details, and there's a million other pods and people that are actual journalists that, you know, whatever. Garth said no one is safe. Deli is safe. Chris Henderson is safe. And then after that, no one is safe. Who's the least safe people on this roster right now?
Mascara, for sure. Because he's just the easiest one, I think, to move on. I don't think Alexi should be safe, but he will be just because of virtue of DP status, and we'll see if he can kick on from here. And
if you were getting this, wait, let me go back here.
Prospect.
If you were getting this Alexi on a regular basis, the Alexi we got last night, if we were getting that on a regular basis and that kind of chemistry and the kind of passes, and I mean, he had a quality match last night. You could have made a very solid argument, man of the match for him.
Yeah,
absolutely.
If you were getting that on a regular basis, would you feel differently?
Sure. And if you threw in a couple goals, sure.
And
yeah.
I continue to maintain that I think the difference is that the guys are on the same page with him.
Maybe.
Like, I think that what I saw was they've started to anticipate one another. And so they're connecting more passes, and they're also hitting into space, which is something that I think Dyla has harped on as well, as opposed to kicking it in the back of the guy's legs, which was happening, those, you know, comical kind of moments. So... Yeah. So, you know, I hope that it's because Alexi felt a little bit of love and is starting to click with his teammates, and something has happened, and not he got news that we've already got a transfer lined up for him, and now he's playing well because he's leaving. You know, I haven't heard.
He was wearing a pretty epic T-shirt in the post-game presser.
Wearing a what?
He was wearing a very epic
Bone
T-shirt.
Thugs and Harmony shirt.
Yeah,
it's pretty great.
I think the guy wants to be here.
Yeah, he does. He does. And if he can produce at this level, great. I think Muyumba's in danger. Can't stay healthy. You know, he can't stay healthy. And I think Brooks is in danger.
And we've got a deep midfield.
Yeah.
It's weird to say Brooks is in danger because, I mean, you have Saba, but you don't have anybody else. So you have Saba, Brooks. What are you going to replace? What are you going to do? Because you need a right back for that.
I know. And Saba has defensive liabilities for sure, but those are.
I mean, Ronnie's done a very decent job. I mean, now Ronny, I don't think is Brooks' caliber when it comes to service, but from a defensive perspective, I got a lot of trust and faith in Ronny.
I would at a left wing back, at a right wing back. I'm not sure that I would. I think he is serviceable in that position, and I think that is a viable thing. But I think you're looking at. You know, essentially what you're doing is you're banking on Matt Edwards being able at his age and with his like stamina to make up the difference. And depending on schedule congestion. Now, if you can get your whole center back line healthy so that you can have a little more rotation there to deal with the Saba defensive liability, as Saba gets into the 70th minute, you know, running up and down, maybe. I also think if we can somehow manage to manifest early goals, I mean, that's been the point, right, of the whole system. That's been the problem, is we've had the inability to score in the first half and score early. This was the first time that we had a 2-goal lead all season.
That's crazy.
That's true.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's something to build on.
Something to build on.
And that's a wrap.
Yeah, I mean, for this match. And then we're going to be back not long. I mean,
so Amy, you didn't get to see who who your people were.
Oh, that's not safe.
Like, you didn't say who you were
Sure.
who were leaving.
Who anybody that I didn't mention that you think is particularly on the chopping block?
Amy didn't.
That's what I'm saying. Is there anybody on the chopping block that I didn't mention?
No, I think those names make the most sense, because I think right now, otherwise you're talking about people that you're not going to be able to move on from a contract perspective because of, salary and whatever else. And people that I think are kind of now the core nucleus of, if we're going to actually turn this into something, that's what it's going to have to become. And I think it is Mayumba and Mascara, because both of them deserve to have opportunities elsewhere. I think they can start elsewhere, and they're just not going to do that.
I'm going to throw one more name into this ring, because it was specifically referenced that they want to shore the spine up, and the injuries that they got and the positions that they had the injuries in were not places that they were expected to be. And actually, I'm going to give you two names, Stian and Luis.
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can't stay healthy. And Luis is overpaid.
And Luis is overpaid for what we get from him. And I think Ephraim, if they need to free some salary up, Ephraim and Noah can come in and fill that role.
Noah especially.
As the third. Noah especially as the third center back. But
Luis has been playing great too. It's just definitely overpaying.
Too much.
We've been very lucky to have Luis, though, to have that caliber. When you have Stian go out and you have Luis Abram to step in, especially now that we're playing in a formation that better suits his particular center back skills. He's not really meant to play. He's never played very well with just the two pairing in the back versus the three. No, I mean, I could see us moving on from a center back, especially if you think Noah Cobb is ready to see more minutes and he's shown himself to be healthier. I mean, are you going to bring somebody in, or are you bringing up Noah?
Bringing up Noah. I don't.
I think you could do both. I think it depends on who, what's available, what you could move around for. I don't know that in the long run, and this is, I don't want to poo on this man right now, because he had a great match yesterday. But I also don't know, Derek Williams hasn't been the healthiest player we've ever had on our roster either. He was a waiver pickup. I don't know that there's not a lot of upgrading that could be done at center back while we're waiting for Noah and Ephraim to get seasoning and be ready to take over full-time responsibilities.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think if they could find, I'm pretty sure that's, if I had to hazard a guess, that's probably priority number one for them.
Yeah. All right.
Even more so than the negative space that occupies us at left wing.
That's a priority too, but there's nobody on there that's outside from Mascara, which is obvious and has been for a while. It's surprising he's been here as long as he has. All right, that'll about do it for our match. So some things we got coming up. This Friday we've got another DecaturFC match against Atlanta Fire United. They actually played them just yesterday on Sunday, 2 days after they had played and got their 8-1 victory over Union 10 FC, which was great. If you want to hear about that match, go check that out on the new El Femenil show that we're doing. Shout out to Jennifer for coming up with the name and the music for that show. We will be covering Atlanta Fire United this Friday. They got a 5-2 win yesterday, if you're listening to this pod on a Monday. They got it over Atlanta Fire United away. And Coach Chapman had been talking about how the rest of the matches after Union 10 FC were going to be a little bit more difficult. I don't know. This team might just be really good, and they just might smash everybody. But we'll see.
By the way, come be a part of history, because apparently the current WPSL, the WPSL attendance record that was set by DecaturFC on June 7th last year was 2,126 fans. And I believe I heard they had over 2,500 fans.
Somewhere around that mark, yeah.
For the home opener.
Pretty incredible. And that was on a holiday weekend as well. And graduation stuff going on. Should be even bigger this week, since the word is getting out that this team scores goals and is good.
And school's out.
So bring the kids. Mm-hmm. It's a good time. They can go on the pitch at halftime, kick the ball around. It's a good time. On Sunday, there were goals from Masonyro, Sydney Thibodeau, and Sarah Greiner. They're all ballers, in particular May. She has big things coming for her, I am sure. I will be there on Friday. Amy will be there as well. We hope to get a few interviews from a couple different players and Coach Chapman if they can. You can get your tickets at DecaturFC.com. They're extremely affordable. Extremely affordable.
It's $5 a match.
It's super cheap. I think it might be 10.
Oh no, I think it's $5 for kids and $10 for adults.
Yep. But it's very easy to get to. Parking is free. You don't have to worry about getting your $60 Home Depot backyard parking lot pass. It's free at Decatur High School. You get
Not to even ask you how I was going to park.
Oh my gosh. You can.
That's my Cobb County ass.
Yeah, right. Or parking up at Braves. God help you. It's easy to get to. You can walk around. Pre-game is at 5 o'clock on Friday in the Decatur Square, right outside O'Sullivan's. Go to O'Sullivan's, get the fish and chips. Phenomenal. The jalapeno mayo is ridiculous. It's really good. And say hi to Gareth, who's the owner there, and the GM, Joel Gold. They're hanging around. The players are hanging around. Like, it's accessible. Bring your kids out. Expose them to this. Show them that there are real pathways for them to pursue this as a career if they want to. Like, that's what this is all about. That's what grassroots football is all about. Kickoff is at 7 o'clock. Hope to see everybody out there. We will be back on Thursday. We're not sure what time yet. Jennifer is about to hop on a plane. We don't trust the Wi-Fi on the plane. So we're going to try to record possibly before, or she just may send us a little video snippet from the sky and we'll somehow neatly segue that in. Don't know how, but we'll figure it out.
You never know. You never know. It could be from the loo.
Jennifer with the
or we might get our asses up very early Thursday and record this thing. We'll see. I don't know.
So in terms, just for some perspective on getting your ass up early, looking ahead toward the weekend and the Red Bull match, which you guys will enjoy at whatever away watch party venue you choose to, or, you know, the comfort of your own home. That match will kick off roughly around the time I'm over the Bay of Bengal or possibly the Malay Peninsula.
What time
so I'm
zone
hoping
is
that the Wi-Fi holds out for me to be able to watch the match. But if not, know that I'll be watching the match around 9:30 in the morning Singapore time because I'm a day ahead of you.
In the future.
I'll be watching it from the future.
Wow. Be able to tell
sitting
us what
at the long bar at Raffles drinking $35 Singapore slings.
I expect your score prediction to be spot on. Should be.
Yeah. your sports almanac book.
That's right. Man, the timeline has, let's be real, the timeline has definitely skewed. Biff Tannen got in this thing.
We're in Biff Tannen's.
He got in this thing raging drunk, and I don't know what we're on, but it's not good. It's not good. It's not good. All right, y'all.
In any case, long story short, I'm going to try and do what I can, but on the other side of the world, and it's going to be tricky. And
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure some fun stuff. In the meantime, y'all be good and take care of each other. And
we'll be all right. We'll hold it down.
If you need help and you need a friend, you've more support than you know.
Absolutely.
It's true. All right, y'all. We're going to be back in just 3 days' time, and then we're going to be back 2 days after that. You can't get enough of us. I know. Really appreciate everybody supporting us and supporting each other, supporting FanTV, supporting DecaturFC, supporting this club that we love so much because we're sickos. But probably more than anything right now, in all seriousness, is supporting each other and supporting your community, whatever your community looks like. Be a part of it. Stay engaged. Don't disconnect. Don't isolate, especially when times get tough. Reach out, and sometimes that can be the hardest part. Do that hardest part. Get over that hardest part first. And people are good, despite what there are a few people who would speak to the contrary on that in this world that make it challenging. Inherently, I believe that people en masse are good and want to help and to be helpful. And all you got to do is ask. Do that first thing. Glasses on. Man, I got to come better prepared tonight. I did not come correct tonight at all. All right, y'all.
You did not.
Really appreciate it. Thank you very much. We will be back in a few days' time. Until then, y'all be good. We will be back.
Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow.